Hey everyone, it's Ivan, kidbadger.com, out here for another gear review, and today, talking optics, this little guy right here, which is the Holosun 507K X2. What is it? How did I end up with it? Well, it is a little reflex sight, basically a shrunk down version of like your larger Holosuns, or similar to a RMR, where you have an emitter, projects a dot, or in this case, different reticles, onto your viewing window, and you can shoot it, get your shots. So I ended up with this one because, sorry Sig, while Sig makes for 365 and 365 XL, I believe it's their Romeo 0, I'm not a fan. Aesthetics, looks great. Functioning, not so much. And for me personally, especially with some of the different kind of shooting I want or do and want to be able to do, it didn't have the features I wanted. To include, honestly, just the dot. For me personally, having the circle dot that you can have within this, I actually really like that. I find it cleaner than like just a single dot, to include the Romeo 0. And this has the same footprint, so can throw it right on the 365 or 365 XL that are cut for it. And with that, definitely more robust in my experience, this one being an aluminum housing. And yeah, I also like the functioning where I can adjust things depending on what I want to do. Right here on the side of the unit, you have your two buttons, and with those, you can go through different settings. For example, you can have it to where as soon as you pick it up, senses movement, turns on. You can also have it totally manual, which is actually what I like. And you can adjust the brightness up and down, which I actually really prefer to set it to whatever I want, depending on what kind of conditions I have. Although some of them are getting better at reading ambient light, if you pull your gun out and illuminate a target with weapon mounted light or handheld light, usually it doesn't pick it up very well to adjust your dot. So I just keep it manually adjusted, which also lets me shoot it at night under night vision, basically drop it down low. Then over here on this side, we have access to our battery, which is really nice. You do not have to actually remove the unit to change the battery, which sucks because then you would have to re-zero it. I've had and used this for probably about 2 years or so now, carried it for probably like a year straight, and I like it. A couple different things. One, definitely, again, more robust than the Romeo 0. Did I ever break the Romeo 0? I did not. I was probably a lot more gentle as far as like racking this off of something hard. I was always afraid I was gonna like just shear that window off of it. This one, aluminum housing, definitely strong. I do, again, like the reticle. I'll usually keep the circle and the dot in there. You can obviously just have the circle or just the dot. Personal preference, I like both. And it allows me to, well, it allows for shooting suppressed. It brings that window up higher, so I can go ahead and get a good sight picture with my suppressor versus having to get suppressor height sights on there. And built into the back is actually a little notch, so you can, I guess, superimpose your front sight on the suppressor on the target. But when you don't have a suppressor on there, you can use this rear notch as basically a backup iron sight, because there is not a provision once you put this on there. Overall, it's done a good job for me. It's held 0. I want to say they're 1 MOA clicks. Not super fine adjustment, but again, for me personally, zeroing this thing at 25 yards, once I did that, good to go, like press on, never had any issues with 0 walking. I do, as mentioned, like the fact that you can remove the battery to swap it. They say it's good for potentially 50,000 hours, usually change it like annually or something like that. When it starts to go, it will actually flash for you saying, hey, you should probably swap this battery out. But yeah, it's done a pretty good job for me, and I've definitely done a lot of shooting with it. Is there anything I don't care for with this 507K? Yes, it's an exposed emitter. So granted, this is largely going to be on a pistol that you're going to conceal carry, not open carry like exposed holster, war belt, anything like that. But yeah, do a lot of things outdoors, inclement weather, things like that. And if and when, because you will get things in there, whether it's water, debris, anything like that, it can basically obscure that emitter and you no longer have your little red dot that you would otherwise have, which is a bummer. I want to say 2022 SHOT Show, I was just there a few months ago. I think they came out with a actual enclosed one for this, as in smaller footprint. They have a larger one that pretty much like a RMR footprint, this obviously being smaller for subcompact pistols. But yeah, I think that would basically alleviate kind of the one issue I have had with this, which again, shooting in inclement weather or just out doing things active and getting dirt, debris, things like that in and covering up that emitter. The unit is IPX7 rated, I want to say. It's like 3 feet for like 30 minutes, something like that probably. I don't know. I would not swim with it. Definitely used in the rain, got soaked, never had any issues with it aside from an open emitter. And brightness settings on this, there's 12 different ones. Plenty bright as far as daylight bright for even like right now. And 2 of those are night vision settings. I will say I've definitely shot this under nods. It works. Part of me wishes they were a little bit dimmer for those night vision settings. But one thing that you can run into is hopefully there's some ambient light, because I think it has to do with basically the coatings on the lenses, but it's a little bit dark. So at night under nods, you bring this up, you're like, I'm definitely looking through a window because it's definitely darker than everything else you're looking through. Is it a like showstopper? No, it's not. I would like it to have better light transmission at night, but it is what it is, and it's most certainly usable. Price wise, you're looking at, I want to say about $300. You can get them through like Amazon, stuff like that. There'll be a link down below. Yes, it's made in China, unfortunately, just like your iPhone. Overall, I will say it's done a really good job for me on this pistol, and I've been pleased with it. It's done everything I've asked of it. But if you appreciate my content and want to support it, greatly appreciate it. Whether it's liking and sharing videos or going over to kitbadger.com, picking up KBAT target pads, stickers, patches, things like that, or supporting me directly through Patreon. Little as $1 a month, get early access to videos, as well as some exclusive content and access to our Discord. If you have questions for me, happy to answer them over there. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.